Well, now this couple, these newlyweds, they were in the east side. They'd crossed East Street, and they were on the east side. And as they walked, it was a little different. I mean, on the left, they could see that the houses were many of them still were that kind of square two-story with the chimney coming right out the top, Victorian. But on their right, then there appeared to be more and more of these houses that are more like, I don't know, 1950s style. Some two stories, some one story. But the streets, they had changed. The names now, they found themselves on a street named, of all things, Gandhi Street. Yes, Ghandi, Gandhi Street. And Peter said, "Well, that's no tree." And what's going on here? And then they looked when they came to another street. They saw it said Mandela Street. Mandela. What's Gandhi and Mandela? These are people. And then let's see. They came to a King Street, and well, Martin Luther King maybe. What they had encountered was the evidence of a change. That's that great awakening and change in action. Because it's easier for me to just explain this to you now rather than how they eventually found out about it. But a lot of these streets in the town had been named after generals and politicians, fighters. And with the Great Awakening and change, the town decided, let's change the names to peacemakers. How about honoring the people who have not led fights, but have encouraged peace? There was a Malala Street. There was the Dalai Lama Street. And after a while, what's going to come up next? Shouldn't there be a Jesus Street? Can you imagine that? Blessed are the peacemakers, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven, I think is what he said. And actually, there was quite a stir about that because people weren't they weren't willing to do that. Because then if there was going to be a Jesus Street, shouldn't there be a Mohammed Street? But anyway, just about all the most famous advocates for peace were up. There was a Greta Street. They were going to name it Thun Street, Thun, but people probably would have pronounced it Thun, so they just called it Greta Street. And what they dealt with, because they certainly wanted to honor the Christians, but they were predominantly Christians. But others argued, hey, consider what the Christians did in the Crusades when they took all that warfare to the Middle East. And so what they finally decided to do was name two streets, St. Francis Street and St. Clair Street, and they had them right together. So as they wandered, they figured some of this out, but it had to be explained to them later by Beatrice. Now, again, people were in their backyards, and now the backyards were a little bit bigger as they got a little further out of the house. And they noticed, it could be the pump's going to cut in here, they noticed that although everything was neat and trim, not everywhere. There would be patches of their backyards, not big patches, where the grass would be like this high or even this high. And, the only tools that they saw to control that were string trimmers, weed whackers you might call. Guys would be going around weed whacking, and they were surprised that they would let it go that high. Now some had already been done, and then you would see others raking the hay, really, because it had become hay. They stood and watched this, and finally one guy spoke to them and said, do you have a question? Can I help you? And they said, well, yeah, we actually do. How come you let your grass grow so high and then wait? And the guy said, "Oh, that's because it's hay. We make hay now. After the great awakening and change, we realized that keeping grass this high was such a foolish thing to do, and it used fossil fuels, and you had to have loud equipment going around. Whereas it'd be better just let it get high enough to make hay. We probably make 4 cuttings of hay in a good year." I'm going to talk over that pump because I don't feel like stopping here. So I knew it was going to go off. And what we do is we rake it up so it can dry. We'll put it up on a little fences or little like easels or something so it'll dry. And a guy comes along and throws it onto his little wagon. He takes it. And you know what we do with it? It feeds the goats. You know the goats up there in the Alp. Well, in the winter they come down. We don't spend the winter up there. And when they come down, back in the by the third hotel back there, back by the I hate to be talking so loud, but it's more efficient. There, that's better. I can quiet down. Where the Quinta Pedagogica is, not the nursery, but the bigger one, down there's where we keep our goats. They're our community goat herd, and we make the hay for them. It's an idea that I think it was one of the 2 online guides down there, often online guides down there. I believe it was Burris. He'd seen that done in Switzerland, where even in the cities, it didn't matter if you had a little plot. They still just, and we've got some enthusiasts that even use a scythe, like this. They have to let it get just a little bit longer, not much, and they can only do that when the grass is wet in the morning to do it well. But then it's completely quiet. You don't have that bird buzz at all. And so they shook their heads again because apparently this town had thrown itself into the Great Awakening and change faster and more enthusiastically than so many other places that were just distraught because it was like their world was collapsing with the price of oil and gas and diesel and fossil fuels, and how could they live without it? Whereas this little town was on the run. They took right off, and they were embracing it. Well, they headed on, and they finally did what Beatrice had said. They climbed up to the cemetery, which was on the highest part of the east side. And there, in all that open space, covered with a lot of it with pretty high grass because it was a hayfield in effect. It would be mowed right up. But they were surrounded by mountains. In front of them, the Alp, going way off to their left and south, a string of that would be Maker Mountain, the Earth Spring part of it. Off to the right, a curve, and then it came back around to Keys Mountain. They remembered that they'd seen that in their buggy ride from the airport. And it was just so nice. And Heidi said to Peter, when I die, I'd like to be buried here. And Peter said, don't talk about dying. What are you talking about dying for? Well, she said, well, I know, but you can burn my ashes if you want, if you outlive me. If you die, I die, said Peter. And she said, well, I don't much care what happens to my body or my ashes, but I would like to draw people to come up here. If there's any place that you're going to believe in God from nature, well, there's so many places, but here would be one.